Australians. This year, a group of Melbourne students from two very different schools with different perspectives on the Gallipoli campaign journeyed to Anzac Cove. Some of the boys are from Turkish Australian families, directly descended from Turkish soldiers who fought in the trenches at Gallipoli. Organisers of this pilgrimage hope it will further cement the bonds of friendship between the two cultures and help promote greater tolerance at home. Lisa Whitehead reports.
Like many of the thousands of pilgrims who came to pay their respects to the fallen, these Australian schoolboys were overwhelmed by emotion.
I found it amazing to see the same moon sink below the horizon that they would have seen on the 25th of April 1915. It just touched me in here.
When I came to Anzac Day, I knew it was going to be very emotional for me. It spiritually connected me to my grandfather.
The students have grown up learning about the Anzac legend and the significance of Gallipoli, but 5 of them are seeing it from a unique perspective. Born into Turkish Australian families, their forebears' blood was spilled in this battle on the other side of the trenches.
My great-grandfather was also only 16 during World War I. His duty was a guard, preventing enemies from coming near the injured soldiers.
At 15, Ali Yilmaz is almost the same age as his great-grandfather when he joined the Turkish army.
Hi, Ali.
Hi, Nana.
How are you?
Good, yourself?
His grandmother migrated to Australia from Turkey 40 years ago.
That's my father's last photo before he died.
Nerman Dogral's father suffered a serious shoulder wound but survived the Gallipoli campaign. He was one of the lucky ones. 86,000 of his countrymen died in the offensive to drive the Allied forces from the Turkish peninsula.
I'm just excited, like maybe my father was walking there too. So now my grandson walking that ground.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice. Ali Yilmaz is one of 5 boys from Melbourne's Isik College, chosen to go to Gallipoli for this year's dawn service. The school in Melbourne's northwest was established to give educational opportunities to children of migrant families. 80% of them are of Turkish origin and consider themselves to have something of a double identity.
I'm a Turkish boy living in Australia. Like, I have an Australian passport, but also a Turkish citizenship, which I'm half Australian, half Turkish.
I'm on both sides because, you know, my homeland is Turkey and Australia. Spent most of my life in Australia, so we're paying respect to both sides equally.
In Turkey, Gallipoli is celebrated as a great victory. In Australia, the defeat is regarded as a glorious failure. But both sides shared a common respect for the enemy, first demonstrated a few weeks after the Allied landing, when the bloody conflict had claimed thousands of lives. During a 9-hour ceasefire negotiated so both sides could remove their dead, the seeds of a unique friendship were planted.
Turkish soldiers were sharing cigarettes and tea with the Australian soldiers. It showed great friendship and connection between the two countries.
Since then, the brotherhood and friendship developed and never stopped for about 100 years there.
In the spirit of that friendship across cultures, Isik College invited boys from an elite private school, Penley and Essendon Grammar, to join its students on the pilgrimage to Gallipoli.
It's been in my mind to arrange an overseas trip, a Gallipoli tour, and to expose their boys and our boys to different cultures and to create a unique experience, to create a unique opportunity for them to get to know each other.
We hope our students would learn respect for others, respect for their culture, respect for languages. In the long run, they'd have a delight in difference. They wouldn't shrink from difference.
We're going to have 2 weeks together and we'll be able to learn more about how even schools differ between the two cultures. And food, religion, everything, we'll be able to discuss all that.
It might be a bit hard to comprehend the situation that we're in, but I'm sure they'll understand how we feel and soon they'll know the Turkish side of the war.
5 boys from each school were selected to make the trip after submitting essays about why they wanted to go to Gallipoli.
Only once you go up Shrapnel Gully can you understand the true extent of the withering sniper fire that supply carriers and stretcher bearers faced. They were naive to the fact that they were going to travel around the world, and really they were going to die for their country.
Grammar student Callum Bubnew discovered his extended family was touched by the sacrifice of one of their own at Gallipoli.
They sent his belongings to his mum. There was just a couple of trinkets and a pencil. That was all that was sent home. He was a 16-year-old boy, like not much older than me.
On the other side of the barbed wire, Fatih Gezer's great-grandfather also made the ultimate sacrifice.
This visit to Gallipoli would bring me closer to him. He died at the age of 21.
At Anzac Cove, Callum Bubnew found his relative's grave and a new appreciation of the chances he's been given in life.
He had hopes and dreams and aspirations, and it was tragically cut short. It really made me feel fortunate that I had those sort of opportunities.
On behalf of the government and people of Turkey.
At this place, Australians and Turks once fired at each other across the trenches. In this unique ceremony, they come in friendship to remember the sacrifice on both sides.
I think they'd be proud, they'd be honoured to see that the friendship that they created has lasted 95 years and will continue.
These Melbourne schoolboys say this trip to Gallipoli has helped them better understand the past and each other.
The main thing that I have learnt amongst this whole great experience was that we're really no different. The Turkish boys, our boys, we're all Australians.
Lisa Whitehead with that report, and that's the program for tonight. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow, but for now, good night.